We welcome everybody back to our spring football coverage of Saluki football podcast series, video series. We're getting everybody caught up to date on Saluki football as they're rocking and rolling. We've already spotlighted this guy back in the fall on Inside Saluki Athletics, but now getting a promotion to quarterback's coach. So we got to catch up with him. It's Ryan McVicker who joins us here during the course of spring football for the Salukis. McVicker, it's good to see you, buddy.
Thanks for having me on,
Hey,
man.
it's great to have you on. Congratulations, man, on what's such a deserving honor for you. I mean, no one within that hallway has to wonder why that move was made. I mean, it was an obvious one to make for Coach Hill. When Coach Rowland moved on and you started having conversations with Coach Hill, what was it like when it started to become clear that you were going to get this opportunity for you?
Yeah, no, it happens super fast, as you always kind of know, and Coach Hill knows that. And, you know, I can remember back in Colorado, I got a text from Coach Rowland, who we all love, but he was like, hey, I'm going to go take a job at Wisconsin. And kind of in the back of my head, I knew, like, you know, this could be a possibility of, you know, coming back or whatnot. And then, you know, obviously Coach Hill reached out, and when he reached out, that's when I was like, okay, this could for sure go down. And it just, like you said, it happened super quick, and you're ready to roll. And I think it was super easy for me just because I know the program so well, and the guys and Coach Hill, and so it was pretty seamless. So
You are a guy that keeps his emotions pretty much in check for most of the year. You always have that smile about you, even on game day, throughout games, good moments of games, bad moments of games. But when it was officially given to you, like, did you allow yourself at all to have any sort of emotion behind closed doors at all, Ryan, with you and your family, just to celebrate what is a big deal for you in your career path and the next part of your trajectory?
no, for sure. I think I remember getting off the phone with Coach Hill, and he's excited to get you back. And I was kind of in the car with my dad, and it was just like more of like, man, that was like 7 years of just it finally kind of pays off. And not that, you know, I was like due for this, I needed this, but it felt good. Like, and for Coach Hill to have that trust in me, for, you know, all the coaches to have that trust in me, it's a big deal. DJ and the quarterbacks and stuff like that, it doesn't go unnoticed for sure. So that was, I think when I got off the phone with him, it's like it'll set in, but it was like, man, you're going back, like we're ready to roll. So
I don't want to rehash everything we did in our interview with you back in the fall, but I mean, you have done literally almost everything within this football program. And one of the areas that we were even touching up on before we hit record, you and good old Jack Reardon before used to have to tally who was coming in and out of games. I mean, you've done everything from literally charting who's coming in and out of games to, of course, being a huge part of just this offensive scheme. What about the path, Coach McVicker, that I've interviewed so many of you guys on? What do you cherish about your path to this point that has you ready? Like, it's not just, hey, we're giving this to Ryan because he's been here. No, you've shown the work. You've proven your worth to Coach Hill in this program. What about your path gets you ready for this position?
yeah, I think it was just kind of like you were just talking about. You feel like, not that you needed to check every box and go through every step, but I do feel like I've done that over the past 7 years, and just literally doing every role, and not being that guy to be like, oh, this is too good for me, like I can't do this, like I've already done stuff like this. It's really willing to do anything to help Coach Hill, willing to help the program. And so I think that's gone a long way. And then I think too, it's the experiences that you draw along the way, working with different coaches, working with different players. You have so many different experiences and so many ideas you come across that it just kind of molds, and you pick out what you like and what you don't like. And then once you feel like, you know, you could be in a position like this, you know, you're ready to roll. And so I'm still learning, and I know this is, you know, my first full-time coaching experience, and I got to, you know, lean on guys like Griff and Coach Grant and even Coach Hill, like, what'd you do, you know, here, and, you know, your first time coaching experience. And so it's like leaning on them for answers too. I'm not going to have all the answers. But I think I am over the 7 years, like just gradually getting so much experience, ready for an opportunity like this.
Look, what I think is great about these type of interviews, so many different people get to watch them, listen to them, and not even just Saluki fans. Like there could be young coaches that are listening to this that see your career path and see what you've been able to be able to do earlier in your coaching career. What do you believe has been most important, Ryan, for you to earn that trust with not just Coach Hill, but within the coaching staff? A lot of that is just your hard work showing that. I get it. But how have you, one, earned that trust from the coaches, but also earned the ability to trust your voice, to know you can speak up in moments and not just be afraid to use what you've learned and bring your expertise to the table, even though you are a younger guy and a younger coach?
Yeah, no, I think more of just like you said, confidence, and then having, we're just watching all sorts of film
Yeah.
throughout the years, gaining that knowledge. And then, even like now with DJ and ET in the room we have, like learning off of those guys, like they've played way more quarterback than I have, and so not being, shy of the fact, like I want to learn from them. I want to see what they like and stuff like that. But more of, you know, I would say just the confidence and you've watched so much film and gathered so many different ideas from different coaches, different players, that you have that structure of how you want to do it. And so I think that's important. And then obviously when you talk about confidence and relaying it, it takes a lot of practice, but I think once like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. And then like you not having a cockiness like I know what I'm doing, but more of like, I can teach this, I know what's going on, I can give you the answers. So
I think from a basketball perspective, like when I look at the really good coaches I've been around, it's not that they copy anything, but they really focus on concepts that work, and not even just in terms of the NBA. I've been around coaches that look at the European leagues, that look at overseas, that try to find really good concepts and tweak them to where it fits their personnel. When you watch film, whether it's the elite college football, whether it's NFL, professionally, what are things that you like to pick up on when you watch film that you've learned that help you, whether it's to try to integrate it with the Salukis or just keep in the back of your mind of things that maybe down the road that you could utilize?
well, that's you're just opening the biggest library, and what we have right now with our PFF software. I think Coach Hill's probably talked about it before, but we have access to any film you really want to, whether that's college or NFL, and so that opens up a lot of ideas. But I think more of now trying to tailor what our guys do best, what DJ does best, what ET and Jake do best, because there are some ideas like, hey, you go watch, like the Lions, and they, under center play action, stuff like that, the West Coast. Is that the best fit for us? Who knows? Maybe there's some different concepts, that you
Yeah.
can integrate, but more of just trying to find what these guys do best, what they're comfortable with, and then now trying to integrate it in the spring ball as far as like banking reps and trying to just get good at what you do, because at the end of the day they're running the plays, we're not. I mean, and we always have this conversation, like they're all great ideas, but you only get 70 80 plays in a game, you can't run them all, and so you need to get good at what you want and what you feel comfortable.
When you look at this team, and let's talk about that quarterback room now, the ones that you get to work with each and every day. ET finally back and healthy. Of course, DJ healthy as well. Jake got banged up towards the end of the year, but what a role he did to come in and fill and learn really on the fly. What's that quarterback room like right now, Coach McVicker, just in terms of the confidence level you have in all of those guys? And I know all those guys, they have big personalities like yourself, so those have got to be some fun meetings along with Coach Hill as well.
Yeah, no, I really like all three of them, and I really enjoy working with them. I think what's good about all three of those guys is they're pretty self-centered. They don't have to, get a whole lot of motivation, hype speeches to get them going. They're ready to roll for, spring ball, for meetings and stuff like that. They got their P's and Q's ready to roll. So But like specifically DJ, all we know DJ and the leadership he brings, the toughness he brings. Obviously, his season got cut short pretty early, but DJ's a guy we can trust and lean on, and he's got a big voice within our offense and in our team, and I think that's important. He's always got good positive juice, and so I think him just continuing to grow, and obviously it would have been nice to have him, the whole season and banking all those reps and having a lot of game experience, but he's played a lot of college football. And then, I think Curry, I think the world of Curry, man. He took about, I would say, the most reps of any true freshman quarterback in the country. Like coming here out of high school in the spring, fall camp, couple quarterback injuries. He took thousands of practice reps, and then you get thrown into games, and you can tell, like, already through two spring practices, like, this kid and a true freshman, I mean, you could really put him up there with anybody. And then ET, I really like working with ET, and shoot, he's had less than 10 practices here. And so just getting him more comfortable, and he's gotten confident and just more familiarity with the offense, and it's tough. I mean, being away from the team, being rehabbing, elbow, all sort of that stuff, it's tough. And he's done a good job. He's got a great personality, and then throw on top of it like Mike Lindauer. Mike Lindauer has been a huge help for us, and will continue to be. And he's more of, I mean, he's been in the room, and so that's important too. And so it's a big, it's a group of good individuals, and then you throw Coach Hill, myself, and Mike. It's a good group.
This may be a question that's more for Michael than for you, but you've been around Michael his whole time here. Coach Hill has as well. After he was able to go and play, which I know was in nobody's thoughts that would have to happen last year, but have you seen a more I hate to use the vague term of confidence when talking about Michael, but in these meetings now, can you sense a different Michael Lindauer in a good way of how, even though he was already a really good coach last year for you guys and had great feel, but after being reinserted and kind of had that extra life towards the end of the year, like, can you sense that he's bringing something a little bit more than maybe he wouldn't have had without those experiences?
Oh, for sure. And honestly, I always tell him this too, like, and honestly, I wish going back, like as a student assistant and a grad assistant, I would have done it, is he was our defensive GA for, a good portion of the year. And so I think for Mike, what's huge for him is he knows, certain structures of
Yeah.
defense that in a language that I don't really know because I've never worked on that. So he has that advantage to bring to the quarterbacks. And like I said, I think playing experience is bigger than anything. Like he's played, a lot of high level football, and so what he can relay to those quarterbacks, I sometimes can't even necessarily relate because I haven't done it. So I think he's a huge help, and he's a good voice, just calming presence, and he's just a super good guy to have around for our guys.
Let's get back to DJ. I'm sure you've been around it enough where you see guys that get a season cut short, they can sometimes come back in not the right frame of mind, more of a bitterness angle where they're kind of frustrated that I got robbed of time, and not so much of coming back with just got to be better and kind of using it as fuel, but good fuel, if you understand what I'm trying to say. How's DJ come back the right way? And I know a lot of it had to do with him still being a major part of helping Curry last year, helping Hunter when he had to step in that role too. Well, how has DJ handled it the right way to not come back with any sort of bitterness that he lost time? It's more eagerness to get back out there.
Oh, for sure, and he'll be the first one to tell you it was kind of a freaky incident where he was on a power read and just his finger just got caught up and stuff, and so getting the surgery and kind of the same thing like his ET is like you want to be around as much as possible. And I think DJ was good as far as being in meetings, and like you said, like a lot of the quarterbacks getting injured, shuffling guys in and out. You have a lot of just volatility in that room, and so I think he did a good job of just he's almost like a coach, like being on the sideline, coaching the guys up, being in meetings, being in game plans. Like, we have our opening script and we hash it out with all the quarterbacks and they bring in their ideas. And so it brings you some ownership as far as, being ready to roll. And you can't just, get surgery and then disappear for 6 months. You got to be in it. And so I think DJ was awesome with that. And I think he knows the capability that he has physically and even just mentally as his approach and stuff like that. He's just a natural competitor. So it's easy for him to kind of get back in that frame of mind and just go to work. And I mean, you see it in all our workouts. He's one of the top dogs, and just he kind of brings everybody along with him. So
I know one of the areas last year that was just unfortunate when you really think of to the spring, when you think of the fall, and of course the season itself, there was hardly any consistency for you guys in terms of practice in the quarterback room because guys just went down. I mean, all the way starting the last spring to this year. I know a lot of that can be uncontrollable, Coach McVicker, but outside of just staying healthy, what are the main things you want to accomplish with this group here this spring that can really springboard it into what can be a really productive summer when they kind of get away from you guys and the coaches in terms of all the summer workouts, and then when you obviously reconvene when you get to the fall?
yeah, I think one of the biggest things for us right now as quarterbacks, and even just like offense in general, is with our scheme is trying to just bank a bunch of reps of the same plays. Like, I was talking to ET this morning, like he got 4 reps of the same pass concept, on day one. And so he got 2 different looks at one coverage and then a different look with another. And so, hey, what do you want to work? Why do you want to work this side against cover 2? And he gives you the answer and stuff like that. But just banking those reps, and then obviously trying to get good at 5, 10 main staples of our offense. So when it comes to, nuts and bolts, and you got to on the line, stuff like that, you're really comfortable at running those concepts. I think we always go back to, like Coach Hill was saying, we were watching the Super Bowl between the Eagles and Chiefs, and you go biggest game of everybody's lives, and they're running basic plays that, they've ran from week 1 and week 2. And so I think that's kind of getting our foundation of what do we really want to be and what are the concepts we want to major in, and then feeding it to those guys and really getting good at that. Like I said, in previous answers, we got a whole plethora of different film, and they're all great ideas, but we can't run them all. And so we got to get really good at that. And then once they kind of get good at that, I think another big part of it is like getting the ball in play and just like forcing defenses to make plays. I don't think we did that at a high enough rate last year of just like forcing people to come up and tackle, forcing people to make plays on us. Just like even our backs, receivers, DJ running the football, ET, Curry, even like Curry's got some wheels on him, like forcing people to earn it and make plays. I think that's huge.
Well, one of the areas, Coach McVicker, I just try to help, when I'm around you guys all the time. And, Coach Grant told me, who of course is your roommate, that you haven't necessarily been the best of roommates lately. That when you do get home, it's kind of, oh, hey, Zach, how's it going? And immediately go in your room and just get on the game with you and your brothers. So like what can I do to help? Like, is there any way where you can get a little bit more family time with Zach when you do get home? And also, I've been told that you are my neighbor, but I've never even seen you on MJ Lane at all where we reside. So, like, where's the truth is? Are you just barely on it and you just get straight to your room? Like, where's this at right now?
Well,
I'm trying to help you now, bro.
No, I've heard you're the life of the party, so we got to get you over first. No, ZG's the man, and he's hooked me up. But, yeah, when you get some downtime, you start getting on the video game. I play NCAA with my brother. Don't ask him what the head-to-head record is right now, because it's a little lopsided. That's all I'll say. But no, and shout out to Zach. He does make some really good food. Like on his he got a new Blackstone, so everything smells really good. And when you get inside, so it's a pretty welcoming environment. So got a couple big days of March Madness, so you could probably use that too.
Absolutely. So I'm just saying, Zach was a little worried, so I had to get inserted
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and just help you. I'm just there to look out for you both, you know.
Yep.
Ryan, really happy for you. Thanks so much for spending some time, not just, you know, for us to just chat, but for our fans to just get a little bit more of an insight to spring football. And let's keep this thing rolling. Look forward to many more conversations with you throughout the spring and this year, Coach McVicker.
I appreciate it. You're the man.